Welcome back to Pokemon Scarlet. Real quick, I'm just going to gloss over the map and we're going to take a quick look at our hordes today. I have gone and poked at a couple of these, mostly to get them in our Pokedex, because there's a lot of Pokemon that I haven't encountered through this playthrough, because trainer battles are practically optional. We got Frigibax over here. That might be worth trying to go for, just to see if I can find a shiny. Meanwhile, we've got a Love Disc over here, which is funny because I went over to that and it's like, wow, you found a horde of wild Love Disc. And meanwhile, I just see 5 fucking Magikarp. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's like if you're trying to mine heart scales. We got Dreadnought over here, which Dreadnought, kind of the champion of Pokemon that you will battle and they will do really good against you, but you'll try to use it and it'll be like, this thing is shit. So, yeah, that's about all we got for now. We're going to go fly ourselves back to the Pokopath Lighthouse and go fight Arven. See, I just gotta go walk over the door, right? I was looking for him to be standing there. Why would I do that? Why would that be a thing, huh? I suppose nobody realizes that the professor isn't actually there at this point, apparently, huh? Oh, so I was suggested to, like, redo the compression on my mic, and I did, so I might have adjusted the numbers a little bit wrong. It may also just be processing a little bit funky, so... Basically, honestly, this stuff is such a pain to actually nail down, so... I suppose I shouldn't be too shocked if it's like, oh, well, you fucked up, etc. Actually gonna drop that threshold down drop that 1 dB, I guess, just for purposes. So, that'll do. I was also told that the mic gets a little bit, like, crunchy at times, like it'll just make a noise. And I've noticed that too. I wasn't necessarily sure if that was confirmed tied to me speaking loud, but I mostly noticed that when I record in Audacity. Apparently it's a thing on OBS as well. And yet the Discord call quality is, like, weirdly better, so that's messed up. Here, I dug out my pop filter. I don't know if this is going to actually help or how this is going to affect the volume. But also, this thing does kind of want to, like, move back to a different position after I fold it over the thing, because it's on a flexible, like, metal. It helps? Okay, well, good. So, the pop filter, this is one that I bought years and years ago. Back when I was still on the Blue Yeti, and it's designed so that way it clamps onto the big heavy metal stand thing that you have that on. It's got like a thumb screw for the adjustable clamp. Instead, I have it on the bar of my microphone arm, which it still fits on, but it's got like this sort of like flexible metal type of cable thing to hold it in place. I guess the best way I would describe it is it's like a piece of thin conduit. It doesn't always like to keep the position, though, is what I'm saying. And also, I just clobbered the thing right out of the thumb screw, so I knocked the mic arm a little bit out of position. Well, I think I fixed it now, though. Anyway. We get to deal with the fact that, hey, Arven is the professor's kid, and the professor just basically doesn't exist. Gee, I wonder if she is a shared hallucination or something. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go with this for a while. I don't remember why I took it off in the first place. Maybe it was absorbing, like, too much of the sound before I did some adjustments, or, again, maybe the thing was just like, oh, by the way, I don't feel like being bent that badly right now, so I'm gonna smack you in the face. It usually wasn't that extreme, but it was kind of a pain in the butt to get positioned properly. Oh god, the flickering. As if these graphics needed help looking worse, right? You put all the effort into the wrong areas with these. You don't need all the, like, texturing. Well, I mean, you also don't need to have the whole world loaded in, but... I don't know, that's just me. I also really feel like I don't like the way she looks in-game compared to her official art. I think maybe it's because her outfit in the official art looked a lot more orangey, if I recall correctly. Meanwhile, this thing is just, like, dirt-colored and dirt-textured, for that matter. Granted, obviously, we don't talk about what she looks like in the fan art. That's kind of different. That's a whole other ballpark. Yes, we need to gather the squad and go deep into this deep hole. Holy Moses. Anyway. What were you doing down there anyway, Arvin? Yeah, no, a lot of the fan art for her is, like, really, listen, the Pokemon fans will sexualize basically anything because none of them have ever seen actual sexy designs. They're like, almost, but... I mean, at that point, just go to Digimon. Jesus. Guy who is scared of all the designs of Digimon, but thinks that Salazzle is just right. Yeah, here's what I was waiting for, is for Arvin to try to throw down with us. I wasn't sure if it came before or after all the cutscenes, because I last played through this part of the game like 2 years ago. Could you imagine that, for some reason, I didn't really particularly massively want to replay through the story mode and lose all my progress? Because then I have to dump all the Pokemon that I caught because I completed the Pokedex. Unless I gave money to Pokemon Home. Which is, well, I have opinions about that. And I'm sure you've heard them all before. It's okay, it could be worse. It could be... It could be everything to do with Pokemon Champions, apparently. Big boss ready for this? Ah, yeah, he's turned back into a dog, all right. He's officially stopped being a cat. Something. Alright, dude, chill out. It's incredibly dorky animations. And he's starting off with Greedent. I thought he started with the Rock. So... Whoopsie-doo. Pulls up... Well, that's the thing, is that he's already got, like, 2/3 length sleeves, so... He didn't have the power for the Scorpion King. Oh, shit! Oh, all right. I was not expecting that. I guess I probably should. That squirrel is so fat it can do Earthquake. Retro, the odds of a Golden Go on our in our future here are kind of low. Unless I explicitly grind for one through, like, tomorrow or something. And even then, I don't know if we'd have enough coins. Because we're at, like, 770-something, I believe. It's like 774. It's not 777, which would be great. Garganical. This is what I was expecting him to bust out. Start with. Yeah, Duff McWhalen is there. Excuse any of the weird mic rotating noises. I apologize. I just want to grab something kind of important here to show off why I'm leading off with this guy, even though he's probably not my, like, beefiest hitter in the party. Is that I'm going to drop a quick Bulbapedia link in here for any of the big nerds in the audience. Take a look at them stats. Garganical is a monster on defense, but he is slightly weak specially. Weaker. So I could have had, like, a fighting type Pokemon out here or something, and we are losing to Gauss. Yep. I did not realize that his levels were actually going to be this high, but I think we'll be able to check this one out here. And hopefully I can stop smashing my mic arm like a complete goon. Not to be confused with a complete gooner. That's the audience. But our ostrich can deal with that. And he's about to send out Scovillain. Scovillain is a Pokemon whose weaknesses are, like, not really. God, is it even going to be weak to ice? It's Grass Fire, which is such a weird type. I don't have a flying move on this team for some reason. Yeah, Scovillain is kind of bad. So I reckon that anything we throw at it will be at least a 2-hit KO. Judging by the small amount of, like, competitive Pokemon content that I've seen, apparently the Mega Scovillain, which basically just gets, like, a little extra in every stat, is a little better than people were thinking, but maybe that's just because of the Pokemon Champions meta. It's got a unique ability, which is like a souped-up Flame Body, for anyone who's, only vaguely pay attention to that. Any move that makes contact with Mega Scovillain is an instant burn. It definitely beats the dog piss out of the fact that they gave Mega Victory Bell innards out. They gave it Pyukamuku's ability. You know what I love is when I have a Mega Pokemon, when I have something that is, like, eating up one of my main team gimmicks, when it sort of is becoming centered as a result. It's becoming a centerpiece of the team, and it has to die to do anything. That's a fucking choice, all right. Anyway, Cloyster is unfortunately way too vulnerable on the special side for it to have really had much of a shot. Meanwhile, Mabosstiff is a pure dark type, so a little bit of Dazzling Gleam should do pretty good here. It may not be perfect, but I mean, that's fine. We're not Nuzlocking this, so I'm perfectly okay with sending wave after wave of my own men at this team, just like Zap Brannigan. And on top of that, I mean, I'm pretty sure that Mabosstiff is just, like, kind of mid in all regards. And it gets a lot of its points mostly by virtue of being like, kind of cute in a way that it still also looks like it would kick the shit out of you. So do I have something that is super strong against dark, or do I just need to bash this thing as hard as I can? And I think I just need to give this thing a big hard beat. Yes, exactly, Lears. You know what I'm talking about. Wow, that thing's faster than our crocodile. Dang! This guy might actually turn into somewhat of a problem. Here, just from sheer virtue of being shockingly fast. What's our team's speed stats look like? Yeah, 125. So, Garchomp is like our best bet of actually being able to outspeed this. Thankfully, the rest of my party isn't weak to dark. But we'll have to see how well this does. Oh, that's nothing, actually. It's a complete nothing burger. A burger is definitely technically a type of sandwich, though, so that's a completely fitting phrase to use here. It's just highly specific, I suppose, that you wouldn't think of it that way. But we got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Yeah, he's got an actual team. He kind of turned into something of a challenge. Between the dirt and the tombstone. Good one, Lears. But there we go. We've completed our first of the 3 story branches that this game has, because it has a structure that is kind of unusual for a Pokemon game, to put it mildly. Now, thankfully, he heals us, so I don't even have to be asked with running our way down to the Pokemon Center. So instead, we'll fly down to the probably still quite laggy school. And we're supposed to go in. Yeah. And here's Clavel again, looking completely ridiculous. Is he wearing that whole suit underneath the... That doesn't make any sense! The fuck? I already knew that. You just keep messing with him. Oh, I thought it was Penny. Those high-tech gizmos. Yeah. He's such an old man. So I thought it was Penny that we fought. And I remember that she fights with like a full team of evolutions, but maybe we fight her somewhere else at some other time. It could also just be that I am very forgetful. So... And that's me over-clicking a little bit there. I thought I had more lines to click through. Oops. Well, whatever. If this thing takes multiple hits, then it'll be less of a problem. Gauss grew drowsy and it evolved into Hypno. Unfortunately, I really don't want to deal with any of that yawn bullshit right now, so we switch in the worm. And we don't reduce... I didn't know Inner Focus was an ability that it had. Interesting. Either way, we are going to probably take a bit to chip this thing because... Oh, baby, our team is very physically oriented. If this guy was running like a full stack of Intimidate Pokemon, we would have a really shit time, actually. But special attackers are kind of rarer than you think, I believe. At least it sure feels like that's the case to me. Switch in Houndoom. I am actually going to switch out for that. Because our best bet here would probably be to circumvent that Reflect and hit it with Earth Power. And overall, I feel like his team is lower level than... Ouch. I feel like his team is lower level than Arven's was. Maybe. Okay, Reflect is worn off, and I need to pivot because... I forgot that thing is actually kind of fast. See, I was fooled because our Crocodile is actually kind of quick itself. Just not by enough. About to send out Abomasnow. So, Abomasnow is a Grass Ice Pokemon. So, I feel quite confident switching out to a Fire type. Because sure, even though our boy is only at half health, I'm pretty sure this thing is quite slow, being that it's a tree. I don't care if it's designed to also be part Yeti, but we'll give it the business here. And Snow Warning didn't proc because of the natural rain. That is slightly unusual, but okay. I didn't realize that was how it worked. Oh, heck! Munoz sending me a raid of 27 people. Wow, you've got an audience. How's it going, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having yourself a good evening. I forgot what I was switching in against. I'm pretty sure this is a ghost type. Ah, yes, Poltegeist. Right. I remember now. We should be able to give this like 1 or 2 chomps and that'll be good. Mostly Grimmeth's people this time. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, Grimmeth has an audience too, so... That's entirely fair. Amoonguss. We will use some psychic damage for that because... first of all, it's a good type to use. Secondly, Amoonguss, I think, has better defense than special defense. Don't quote me on that. And usually has an ability that gives you a bad time if you make contact with it. So you do not want to do that. It, of course, lived through our one hit, but our levels are, like, all tied up. Heck yeah, bad time. I mean... That's an extremely Grimmeth message, I think. Nope. Animations interrupting each other, that's always fun. And he is switching in the 3rd starter. So, I guess we know what happened to the starter that I didn't pick and Nimona didn't pick. He was raising it. I think he said he was raising it himself anyway, but it's also just a plot thread you might completely forget about for completely fair reasons. You go dig up. I mean, I certainly would like to hope that he's showing some signs of life. He did do a food video recently, so I'm assuming that he is decently alive, and hopefully this is a signal of him returning to the fold. But, I mean, generally, I feel like do what you think is right. Or don't. I'm not your mom. But I still watch his older content from time to time, too, just because I love that guy. He's funny. He's got red hair. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I do think at least... I was going to say, does he not have a Switch 2? And then I'm like, wait. Isn't the Tomodachi Life on both Switch consoles? And I know he's got a Switch 1, so if he doesn't have a Switch 2, but I think he managed to grab one of those, which, to be fair, since the economy is LOL and prices on everything are going up, I love hearing about, oh yeah, by the way, the price of consoles has to go up because of how bad the economy is. Basically, TLDR was a good choice on his part for him to get that as soon as possible. Oh, hey, look, it's an NPC seen all of, like, once? Does she have a class? I don't remember. But obviously, you can kind of guess somewhat connection to Rhyme, the 6th gym leader. Because of reasons. Don't know why we don't see her all that much then. But yeah, I've thought about it. Yeah, I've thought about a Switch 2, but I'm not necessarily sure how much I would get out of that right now. Most of the games that I want for Switch 2 are available on Switch 1. And anything else that's not, it's like, ooh, well, I gotta pay the Nintendo tax. I'm not really sure how, like, interested I even am at this particular juncture of going on to the next Pokemon game, which it's a year from now. I got a year to think about that. But if they go too much into this open world thing, I'm probably going to be a little bit disappointed. Just because this is really not completely my bag. Like, this handles it okay, aside from the performance issues. You know, if you set aside the part where it's like, okay, they definitely overdid certain things a little bit severely. Going up to visit this guy, I actually forget exactly. Like, I already own Metroid Prime 4 for Switch 1. I don't think it is necessary for me to pivot to Switch 2 for that. Something on my mind of lately. Could ask You'd ask for my expertise on the matter, I'd be most grateful. Oh boy, what do you want to know, friend? Oh. Tell me, what does chuggy mean? For reference, I'm pretty sure that in the Spanish language version, the word that he asks to know about is cringe. And that should give you a pretty good idea for anyone who's like, who's never heard the term chuggy. That's just... You know what? I'm gonna lie straight to his face because it's funny as hell. Oh, boy. Oh. Now you can tell that I'm a real child, right? Just straight up lying to adults about what words mean. And this is how you end up with all of the, like, Gen Xers and older who think about 6-7 more than any of the kids who say 6-7 do. Yeah, Switch 2 is just kind of, like, not in a very interesting place right now. I'm sure there's some stuff that I forgot. And of course, I see a bunch of, like, ads and stuff because of following accounts on the usual, you know, I follow Cheap Ass Gamer and stuff like that, so it'll, like, scroll past. None of it will hook me because I'm not really sure I'm that interested in any of the Switch 2 stuff. None of the names have ever, like, stood out to me too much, except for, like, oh, hey, here's some things that already exist on Switch 1. Because there's Z to A, which I would probably just get on Switch 1 anyway, because, let's be real here, I'm not expecting performance out of Z to A. Y'all gave 6-7 the Chinpokomon treatment. A little bit. That's not entirely wrong. That's a pretty good way to think about it, actually, as a slang term. Oh, see, they'll at least draw a model of a guy with arm hair. Credit there. Bit peckish, huh? Don't eat Chansey. That would be rude. Among other things. Yeah, at the very least, I think the other most recent consoles by the other guys have actual stuff going on. Other than the Switch 2, I mean, like, there's games for the PS5. Contrary to the usual gags. Not necessarily that many of them, but... Wow, are you surprised who it is, judging by the massive Eevee backpack? Nobody in these games gets a unique model unless they're, you know... That's too cool for something like that. To be just attached to a random NPC. Anyway. I assume that the Xbox Series X, Series S, it's a little bit weird. I also, the fact that you have all of these consoles having revisions kind of, they end up confusing me a little bit, I guess. Maybe because... Not that console revisions are truly new. I mean, we remember the NES top loader here, right? But just the extent to which there's so many more of them. And they're so expected now that we basically have, like, console half generations. I mean, a lot of the generation structure is at least partially bullpucky, but on the other hand... Just on the other hand, you know? Umbreon, of course, is a dark type, so I'm shocked Body Press did that much damage, actually, because Umbreon is rather notorious for being kind of a fat bastard. That was rude. I'm sorry. But Umbreon is definitely a notorious hit taker. Of course, it can't Toxic me because I'm Steel type, so there's probably some disappointment happening there for this kid. Not gonna bother with Zap Cannon. Wants to send out Flareon. Now, Flareon is a Pokemon we generally don't have to worry about. Flareon is a very strong Pokemon in terms of its attack power, but it is a complete glass jaw, and its speed is nothing to write home about. If you saw me try to use it in Pokemon XD, you would definitely be able to tell that. And it got benched for effing Houndoom. Because they gave that to me at the start of the game just for free, and what am I supposed to do? Just turn down a free puppy? Come on! Unfortunately, that did mean that we had to cut out a section of the carpet at one point, but I digress. I'm pretty sure even house-trained dogs love to piss on the carpet if they get the chance. It's just a lot of fun for them, clearly. About to send out Vaporeon. Now, Vaporeon we could probably deal with Ursula because Dragon Ground, so it's just mid-damage, and Vaporeon's main shtick is being kind of well-rounded. Vaporeon also has the highest HP stat out of the evolutions, but I don't know if that's special. It's a water type. They love building their HP stats for some reason. We love casting spells. Wait. That's something else. About to send out Leafeon. Leafeon is a strange one. I want to say that Leafeon has, like, kind of Flareon stats. But wait, no, it definitely doesn't have that level of attack power. It might be physical defense, which is its best stat, or possibly special defense. I forget which. I do, however, remember that it's not exactly considered to be the best, to put it nicely. His name is fucking Duff McWhalen. Hey, Duff McWhalen is hilarious as much as people meme on. God, I love the X5 Maverick names in the original dub, and then they changed them for the Legacy Collection. I've probably ranted about this before, but I'll fucking do it again. Just like Goofy. And last but not least, surely you've got Sylveon as your last Pokemon or something, right? It's gotta be. Yeah, you didn't have the Ice type. Excuse me. And again, ugh. Like, what sicko chooses Glaceon as their choice of evolution? Come on. Glaceon basically just kind of being like Special Flareon. But an Ice type instead. As Penny has to hold the Terrassel orb back with both hands because she would take massive recoil trying to use a rubber band gun, so like oh, this might hurt a pretty good amount, actually. Yeah, that was a good chunk. We are going to switch out for that, actually. Ooh, I don't think that's going to be a easy switch out, unfortunately. So I think we just gotta heavy slam. If it weren't for the fact that our attack power is, like, cut in half or less right now, that would be pretty good. Unfortunately, well... It's alright, death is preferable over trying to fight while charmed. Attract is some bullshit. Yep, pretty good. Pretty good. Rest and rip. Give me the amount of money and the completion screen. I don't think there's any other rewards after that. Where were they watching from? Oh, I think this is still a flashback. And yeah, as usual, something if you fight back against the bullies. It won't end well for you. Oh, she's speaking in Morse code, you goofballs. Come on. How hard can this be to figure... Oh. Yep, everyone taking things a little too seriously and something. Arc words, etc. And again, somehow doing this, it once again makes just as much sense as the last time. I mean, yeah, but that's kind of like why nobody talks to cops, right? That is a pretty ridiculous wig. It's true. And they're all in their Team Star outfits. I don't remember when or if you ever actually get to see them. Well, you do get to see them when they're not in the outfits. But I don't remember when or where. Although, as I mentioned, yeah, there's full art cards out there for those of you who are Pokemon TCG people. Of all of them in their school uniforms, and it's very weird to see Aerie in like normal people clothes and without the wig or the makeup or anything. I mean, it's weird to see the others not in those outfits either, but even more so. Or in a different way, I guess, or something. It's... It means he's not going to kick your asses, which is a bit of a surprise, honestly. Atticus continuing to be a huge dork. And couldn't you at least clean up after yourselves? Everybody's like, "Aww." You are hereby sentenced to go back to where you were hanging out beforehand. Hey, here's two responses that are basically identical. There's no situation like the cops arresting you in Earthbound, where you get to tell them that you can't read. Oh, and there's Mr. Clavicus looking away from us until he walks over. I do love those, like, bank-style desk lamps with the green shades. I kind of want one of those. I just don't really have a great use for it, or much of a place for it, even. Ah, I see. She embezzled the bitcoins. Meanwhile, Clavel barely knows what a computer is, so he doesn't have much of an actual follow-up there. Again. Oops. Sure, why not? Oh. I thought the cutscene was going to start automatically. You know, usually that happens to people who do actual bad things. And that's how they get their careers in. Hooray, we get Draco Meteor. Not very useful for me right now, but neat anyway. Oh, yeah, we could probably use somebody who's a little bit tech-oriented, but... suppose we'll deal with that later. But moreover... Let's see, where's the Pokemon League compared to where we need to be? I think this way. Don't think I need a heal right... Yeah, I don't need a heal right now. Well, Duff McWhalen, get to the front of the party because... I... remember that the first trainer here is ground type. So... that would probably help us out a little bit, is have somebody who is really good at that. Fighting ground type Pokemon. Oh, that's one of those things. Good of them to leave this little route as, like, being a thing that you can access super early. Could have gotten the mice just immediately if we wanted to. Here. Bonk our head. Here. Coin Man. Try to go, where the hell is he? Top of the thing, that makes sense, actually. Alright, it's time for us to do stuff. Time for us to get a cutscene. I hear another coin guy. Literally right there. Alright, hey you. Let's do this. Yeah, I sure do. Interview room, huh? They want to make a whole thing out of this, huh? This is a choice, all right. I guess flavor in that. Well, I mean, we already know that, so. Wrote on my Pokemon. Mostly. One of these is not even a real name that's in there. We're here for the championship. Well, there's probably a lot of things, really, but I guess becoming even stronger is at least part of it, right? The 8 gyms gave me the most difficulty is, to be perfectly honest with you, none of them. Did I even, like, struggle against any of these? I mean... Levincia, I guess? They don't give me any, like, complete bait answers there for anyone who doesn't remember. Doesn't exist. She used electric. And once again, they give you only a list of Pokemon types that count for the gyms, so no weird bait answers involved here. Yeah, but I sure don't remember how many it is. It's the Fire Croc Pokemon. Already answered that, and... I mean, it would be a little bit hard to say no. So why can't I have a third answer where I say something smart alecky? I'm not sure why they need this part of things for this. Just as like some flavor text of like, hey, enjoy your business interview for some reason. Incredibly strange. Well, let's do this. One of the other favorite trainers of a lot of folks. Rika, who is starting out with a Whiscash. Oh, Not particularly happy about that. I mean, I guess at least it is a much lower level than a lot of the things we've been facing so far. So that's good. But we'll pivot in here. At bare minimum, this won't be like Bertha's fucking Whiscash from Gen 4. Where that fucking shit biscuit would always hit me with Fissure. Like, I mean, always. I was in that... The first time I played it, I'm pretty sure I got, like, multiple Pokemon fissured by that fucking thing. For some reason. Just... Eesh. So, Dugtrio is fast, so I'm pivoting into Duraley to have something a little bit... more able to reduce its damage, basically. And while I don't think Dugtrio has the moves necessarily to exploit the Ice type, unless it's, like, rock moves, softening its attack is probably a good idea. And we still got flinched. And here comes the Sandstorm. And here come the Pretzels. And you what, mate? What do you... Does it have Sand Veil as an ability or something? What do you fucking mean I missed Waterfall? God, maybe I should have just left Duff McWhalen in to deal with that. Well, okay then. That's... Alright, now Donphan. Donphan does not have Sand Veil. So Ice Spinner should take care of this nice and easily. With a minimum of fuss, and while I cannot be completely sure about this, I would presume there would not be a whole lot of muss either. Stasis Zombie, because Diglett dig. Dig, Trio. Yep. That's... I guess that's as good of a reason as almost any at this point. The upside is that we burned a bunch of Sandstorm turns, so... that's a little bit less damage we'll be taking or something. About to send out Camerupt. Now, Camerupt will just explode on contact with a water move, so... I'll do this too. Fuck it, send the worm back in there. I swear, this thing looks happier and dopier with every generation. In Gen 3, Camerupt actually looked kind of pissed off a little bit. Now, Clodsire. Clodsire is a ground poison type, so there might be a part of you that's going, oh yeah, I'll switch into Psychic type. Don't do that. Don't do it, because this is basically just like a gym battle. I'm pretty sure anyway. I'm pretty sure that she just uses her Terra Orb to turn the thing into a pure ground type. Which maybe begs the question of why she needs this as her last Pokemon. Why not anything? But it's because Clodsire is really good. Look at how silly this thing looks. Even before its hat, which is a pretty ridiculous Terra-type hat, even by the standards of Terra-type hats. This might kill us, actually, because we took a pretty good chunk as the whale here. Oh, we're still alive. I don't even dislike Trubbish and the ice cream cone that much. The garbage bag Pokemon is silly on a concept level. I mean, I don't like the ice cream cone as much as some of the others, but, like... Could be worse. Oh yeah, and here's the small child. Do I get to shuffle around the order of my team, or is this, like, pure back-to-back? Yeah, I think this is actually not a strict back-to-back. Never mind. I don't get healed, though, which is fair, but... do that. And yeah, I remember the types, so... I remember who to start each battle with, in theory. She has that huge, like... It looks like a plastic box in the shape of a key. I don't know if it's just the choice of texturing or anything. But hey. Here's Cuparaja to start her. At least she's got just a single type Pokemon, so this is quite linear play. Also, if she starts trying to do Sandstorm stuff, then I can just bring out... Garchomp, and that'll be much easier. About to send out Bronzong. We're staying in. Bronzong is one of those Pokemon that got hit real bad by the Gen 6 Steel-type nerfs. Because now it has weaknesses other than Fire and Ground, which means that you can circle around any of the mind game involved with what its ability is. No guesswork needed here. Corviknight. We'll stick in here to deal with Corviknight. It'll be fine. I could switch to our electric type, but I don't believe that is going to be a requirement here. About to send in Magnezone. Yeah, we switched for that because I love Magnezone, but it does have a pretty big problem with one very specific type. And in fact, back before Gen 6, I think Magnezone didn't take neutral damage from literally anything. It was either boosted or reduced, depending on, like, what attack type. No, water, pardon me. Water is the thing that's not true of. Magnezone took neutral damage from water, and I think that's literally it. Of course, then they... I keep bumping the mic, sorry. I'm screwing this up in a pretty stupid way. So, yeah, after the Gen 6 nerfs, Dark and Ghost were back to dealing standard amount of damage. Well, yeah, I mean, most things are kind of weak against Sharks, but... But Magnezone is kind of in a special situation there. Her Pokemon are all under light screen, so we're sticking with Garchomp for the ground damage. I mean, I guess I could switch Magnezone in for Body Press, but I don't think that's super strong. You would think, and yet here we are. If I'd used Dragon Claw, it wouldn't be very effective, but... she's got that, like, yellow X in the back of her. I do not remember that. Oh, hey, everybody. Look who it is. A returning face. Oddly enough. Looks like you got a promotion. Which means that you're probably doing twice the work for half the wages. Well, not half the wages, but, I mean, actually, knowing Geeta, maybe. Maybe. She seems like she would. I like him a lot. It's just so dry. It's kind of funny. Completely beleaguered. He's got a rough go of it, but it's in a funny way. And Tropius was not the lead I was expecting. Well, okay then. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to not actually be able to switch those here. I just wanted to switch the moves around because otherwise it would bother me a little bit. But this thing is double weak to ice, so we bring in the whale. Listen, I wasn't intending to put it at the front of the party for like 3 of the Elite Four battles. But here we are. That's probably the most effective Atropius has been in a while. But it did have a free turn for setup, so... perhaps that's to be expected. Let's send out Staraptor. Now that is a Pokemon we want to hit with some electricity. Especially because Staraptor usually has Intimidate for an ability, so... You know, something that can lower our attack. Let's hit that with a special move. Yeah, see what I was saying? Ooh! Ouch! Yeah, I guess Mega Staraptor is a flying fighting type, right? So I should probably have expected that a little bit more. Nevertheless, it took its special defense down a good chunk. So that made our life a little bit easier. Altaria is super duper weak to ice. And I think it's more of a special wall, so it's getting folded with that thing pretty easily. About to send in Oricorio. Oh. I don't know which of these it's going to be. So that's interesting. I also don't have a rock type move on this team, which is wild. Fuck it. I'm pretty sure that Ice Spinner is still going to be super effective no matter what. Yeah, plus it's the Zapdos type one. It's electric flying. That is no biggie. And lastly, you've got Flamigo. Now, of course, Our opponent turns to a pure flying type no matter what. So, hell with it. Let's just go with this. He's got all birds, as you can probably tell. He had Oricorio before. It was electric flying. His other Pokemon... Well, he had Altaria. That's not entirely a bird. It's kind of a bird. Yeah. All his Pokemon are just... Like, the flying type isn't literally all birds, but he definitely had all birds. At least I don't think the flying type is all... Well, yeah, I mean, the fan Rotom is flying type, strangely enough. That's not a bird, I think. Yeah, see, here's the slightly unfortunate thing. Neither of my Pokemon that are good against flying types resist fighting. I mean, I guess I could have had Duraley going for some Ice Fangs, but, you know. Gyarados would have to... I'd start rolling all of the 5% there and just, like, whiffing all of them. Because this game's RNG can be... Well, Pokemon random number generation always feels a little bit rude sometimes. It's alright. Very sad for Flamigo. I enjoy Flamigo quite a bit. Very funny Pokemon. Yeah, he doesn't really have a team that is necessarily, like, completely themed around that. Which is kind of a shock. Get the bullhorn. Yeah, it's not his thing. He just wants out of here. And here we go. Here's Hassel. He's got a bit of a... Yeah, he's got a tiny little cape going over his shoulder that's kind of incorporated into his jacket. He doesn't like to stand out, which fits with his type, too. Now, we've got some business to take care of here. And it starts from all of this. And we will put Duff McWhalen back in the front. Okay, Set Titan, it's time for you to show how cool you are. Because surely you've got to be able to do something pretty good. Actually, it's been carrying a good amount here, to be honest with you. But he's a Dragon-type trainer, which means not only are probably all of his Pokemon weak to Ice, but he's going to have Dragon-flying Pokemon. Yeah, as you can see, he's leading off with Noivern. So, provided I get my hits in with this, basically all of these things are going to fold like a cheap napkin. He's going to Super Fang me, and that's slightly unfortunate, but if this thing lives, I will be befuddled. Yeah. That's why we're leading off with our Ice Attack user. And he's sending in Haxorus. So, let's get a little bit more risky here, because I would like to try to preserve a couple of Ice Spinners for the future. And we'll switch in Garchomp. I mean, I guess I could switch in the Ostrich and use Dazzling Gleam. But let's hit this thing with some Dragon Claw. And yeah, since they gave Garchomp, like, all of the stats ever, it's able to outspeed pretty much any of these. I basically don't have to worry. But I'm sending in the worm here because, first of all, it'll be real funny when it eats the apple, and second of all, grass dragon type, so it's double weak to ice. And I got Ice Fang, so that thing will get chopped in half. Usually you would want to chop an apple into more slices than that, but, you know, budgetary constraints. Dragalge. I'm not 100% sure how you would pronounce the name, but I'm trying to remember. Well, I remember that Dragalge is Poison Dragon. I'm trying to remember if it would be better to hit it with Earthquake or with Earth Power. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to look at the stats, and I'm probably just going to end up saying, yeah, obviously we go with Earthquake. Because we have that speed, so this is usually a pretty good bet. Nevertheless, I don't think Dragalge is a, like, very high damage Pokemon. So our chances of getting one shot here are not, like, necessarily all that high. It might have Ice Beam, though, because it evolves from a water type. But I'm willing to give this a shot. Never mind, this is easy. About to send in Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur is a pretty solid Pokemon. And I think this is the sort of thing that would probably make you worried under most circumstances. But mostly because it's Ice Dragon type. If you just forget the mechanics, this is probably the first one that actually throws you off and makes you go, what do I do here? And the answer is you just land fairy type attacks. That said, I think Baxcalibur probably has enough meat on its bones that I might have a good cause to be concerned that I don't land a one-shot kill. I don't know that it would outspeed us, but oh yeah, this thing actually needs a pretty serious amount more damage than that. On the other hand, yeah, that'll do it. 2 hits. And we lived through one of them. I'm shocked. Baxcalibur hits like a truck. It has, like, probably one of the best attack stats out of Pokemon that you can just go pick up. It's just that I didn't pick it up because I liked the ice type I already had. Huh. And he's so impressed he's weeping. Oh. Everyone here is pretty great, actually. Yup. Yeah, this is where the arm wrestling part of things happen. By that, I mean, I believe this is where we fight against Gita, right? If I'm not mistaken. If I am, well then, oops. I'm going to operate under the assumption that it is. And we're going to have the shark as our leader here. I mean, honestly, even if not, like, come on. That's just a good choice no matter what. But if this is Gita, her first Pokemon is Glamora, which is actually good strategy. Gita is sort of infamous for being like the worst champion in the entire series, but that at least is a smart move. Because Glamora has the thing that drops toxic spikes whenever it gets damaged. Oh, I hear a Gimme Ghoul in the background. Oh no, she does. That's right, Glamora is her last Pokemon, right? I'm just stupid and I forgot that. Well, whatever. This is still a good choice for a lead. I mean, in fact, it may be the best choice on some level. But I forget. She's also not spamming full restores, which is great. That'd get kind of irritating. In fact, none of the Elite Four have, so that's pretty nice. She's switching in Veluza. Yeah, I think we can put Gauss in to just put a Thunderbolt in that thing's face and it'll probably die instantly. Veluza is not a good Pokemon, man. I mean, if you were in such a position where you could properly set up with Fillet Away, it's a Pokemon that looks like it's got a lot of potential, but unfortunately it just never lives up to any of it. And also, it's kind of a glass jaw, so down it goes. About to send in Avalugg. That thing is not going to have a chance, dude. Not even remotely. It's a physically bulky ice type, and it, like, basically ignored all of its other stats. If this thing lives through Torch Song, I'll be Actually, I mean, that's kind of impressive. I wouldn't have thought that it would have had it in it. Flamethrower would probably have been an actual kill, though. Although, it is raining, so, you know, fair counter argument. Flash Cannon would have turned that thing into paste. About to send out King Gambit. Ooh, so all that boosting was for nothing. Unfortunately, our only fighting type move is Body Press. And King Gambit is going to be boosted a little bit by virtue of the fact that, well, okay, again, assuming that it has Supreme Overlord as an ability, which I don't recall. Yeah, okay, it does. So, what do we... Oh, we only killed 3 of her Pokemon? Never mind, it's not going to be as severely boosted as I thought. I thought this was number 5 in her team. It's number 4. That's not a huge difference, but it's enough. And that Kowtow Cleave still did nothing. That's just kind of sad, actually. About to send out Go-Goat. Really? Go-Goat? Like, for real? Then again, didn't Diantha also have Go-Goat, and she was sort of the previous worst champion candidate? Maybe that's sort of the linchpin of being a really shit champion, is having Go-Goat. I mean, to be fair, it's not a very impressive Pokemon. It did, however, live through an Ice Spinner. Which, to be honest with you, is probably more to do with the fact that Titan has a better stat spread than your average bulky bulky ice type, but it's still not perfect. And here we go. Here's the last Pokemon, Glamora. A Pokemon with a monstrously exploitable double weakness. And your Reflect has worn off. So... I mean, she's gonna reduce it. I just don't remember what she switches to. It's not Flying, which would be the smart one. Yeah, she swaps it to pure Rock type for some reason. But once again, Glamora is kind of like the worst finisher that you could have in a case like this. It should absolutely just be in the lead. And you have it press one button and then die, and that's good enough. At least in theory. Unfortunately, that's not what she did. So, we defeated Geeta, and we are now officially a Pokemon League champion. As everyone just comes out here to say congratulations and clap at us like it's the end of Ava. Fortunately, you were a little late to actually watch it in person. Oh, were you just messaged afterwards? Oh, get a load of this goofball. I mean, we just finished a battle here. Treasure eat, yeah, I guess. A lot of places, really. Feel like somewhere where we can cause not things breaking. I don't remember what her team is like at all, so... We will find that out together in a moment here. as ever, we're just gonna lead off with Garchomp because it's a nice, solid Pokemon that kind of does stuff good. General. Doesn't even need anything specific, but... not quite roundy. I mean, I guess it depends what pins the position there, because we still have to do Area 0. We finished fighting Arvin and Penny and Clavel, who I forgot was a guy we had to fight, and also the League. So now we're up against Nemona, which is the end of this branch anyway. Oh, her Pokemon is pretty high level, and also great view there of that extremely low frame rate fellow. About to send in Goodra. Goodra is... physically more vulnerable, I believe, but hey. Send in the whale. Do some things. It's 220, but still. But send in Pawmot. That's a pure electric type, so let's send in our ground type to deal with that. Yeah, I think Nemona is pretty decently written. I think because, like, antagonistic rivals kind of get, like, really a little bit... Oh, it's electric fighting? I forgot that it was fighting type. Well, that didn't really mean a whole lot, and to be honest with you, that is not a very exploitable type, actually. So, ground is probably still the best solution. Yeah, like, more antagonistic rivals tend to get a little bit tiring. And while some of the friend rivals are a little bit like... eh. I'll certainly take them over trying to redo Silver again. Because at that point, it's just like, man, just write Shadow the Hedgehog fanfiction. It's more respectable than whatever you're trying to do here. Or, God help you if you try to do Barry again, like... And to think Barry wasn't the thing that made me rage quit that randomizer. But also that fucker. Orthworm. So Orthworm has a chance to have an ability that makes it immune to ground. So let's go set that thing on fire, which is great because it'll set the stage for when Meowscarada comes up, and maybe she's remembered to pick up a dark type move for it? Question mark? Oh, well, there's going to be some shining blazingly bright, and for other reasons, however. Sure, thank you. 40 stream streak. Holy crap, Roundy, that's a lot of streams. Well, I appreciate your long-term viewership. Just like I appreciate everyone's long-term viewership, but well, I think you're the only person I've had so far with a streak that high, so. That's right, everybody, we did it. This is the part where in the games, at least prior to Gen 5, they would roll credits right afterwards, but we don't quite get that. I mean, I guess it depends a little bit on your definitions, because the Gen 5 games, well, okay, Black and White 1, pardon me, are a little bit weird, because we go through the Elite Four, and then you don't get a champion battle afterwards. You get N's Castle, and you fight the Version Dragon, you fight N, and you fight Getsus. Black and White 2 are a little bit more normal. Oh, dogs just like phones, I'm pretty sure. Don't worry about it, Arvin. Yeah, is it the two folks that I was looking for before? What an incredibly strange looking object. Honestly, not really, but I don't know if I... Actually, come to think of it, it's like, at first I was like, no, I don't think I really would have expected like a geodesic dome to appear in a Pokemon game. And then I had a moment and I was like, actually, no, never mind. That seems like they would just have an object that has a geodesic dome on top of it as, like, pretty high up there on the list. Especially once you got out of Gen 3. Our team is fully healed, so I don't have to run down the street to a dang Pokemon Center, at least. Instead, we can fly over to Medali West, and that is probably more or less the closest to the entrance to the big deep hole. Full of, like, moths and ostriches and rocks. Well, out here we just got a bunch of Jigglypuffs and cats. One of those mushroom guys is pretty good at capturing Pokemon. Yeah, if you need something to help you capture a Pokemon, get Breloom. It can learn Spore, it can learn False Swipe. That's not literally all you need for a situation like that, but it will usually do the job. And into this tunnel we... Is this place just, like, here and unlocked all the time? I guess you have to use technology in order to get into the crater thing, or... I mean, theoretically, you could get in other ways, but most of them would involve taking a big fall. Or using a flying Pokemon. I'm just feeling like the security on this is a little bit, not that much. And you'd probably get a couple of, very, very, not necessarily very smart people, just kind of like trying to jackass their way into the crater. Nice long black screen there. That's always a bit nerve-wracking. Yeah, you probably will get your ass kicked if you keep that up, Arvin. Well, all the other electricity seems to be on, so... Oh, did you accidentally, power saving mode? That makes sense, actually. That's probably reasonable. Nimona just scaring everybody, but... Oop. Oh yeah, we gotta... Should probably brief everybody on the story here. Probably, yeah, he doesn't even... Oh, they've got ID numbers. I glossed over those, but... Interesting that they made those up. I mean, is there any information to be gleaned from those? I highly doubt it, but... Apps. Maybe somebody knows a little better than I do. I admit that there's at least some amount of Pokemon lore that I don't understand that well. Or at least don't know that well. Well, let's get in the elevator, gang. I mean, I don't think I could not do that. Well, lied, but... Jump off of the thing? Hey, you can't ride the dragon in here. I'm sorry, I was just looking around. Down. Make sure I don't miss anything. It's okay, there's not that much to miss anyway. Do this. The only way down, huh? Oh. I see. It's afraid of heights. Anyone? Saddle up the whole group. We're just a little bit too late, and we fall off. Wait, no, not quite. It's a good thing Arvin is, like, big and strong, so... You get to go through the cloud barrier here, that I guess no elevator could go. Like I said, anyone trying to get in here would be doing, like, jackass stunts, basically. It would be extremely dangerous. Oh, Koraidon isn't really super interested in hanging out here, I guess. It's retreat of its own volition. Oh, she fell off. Right. Mind you, a lot of the Pure Land in Secret of Mana. I can believe it. It's a little bit weird, to say the least, you know? Yeah. Visit the 4 research stations to locks. Right, they got to make this a little bit more complicated. But it's basically kind of a straightforward path on some level. It's not too open-ended. If you just keep going, you'll get there eventually. Plus, since you can't get on your bike here, your bike, I say, with some air quotes involved, you will just kind of not be able to miss them, pretty much. But I am going to look around this area, too, and pick up any items that are hanging out. And we'll send out a Pokemon here to have someone in the lead to fight stuff that's walking around, because why miss out on the experience, right? If we're able to, anyway. Maybe you're better. I see those Jumpluffs. Yeah, the level of the wild Pokemon here is pretty high, as you would probably guess. This is our post-game dungeon, in a sense. It's just that, basically, as of Gen 6, they sort of have moved things up to a way where you do get kind of shepherded straight into post-game content afterwards. But which kind of makes it a little bit odd. I think that some people think that the plot line in Gen 6 with Jurassic and the rest of those don't count as a result. So you get a lot of people who are like, oh, the post-game of Gen 6 is underwhelming. But I mean, the credits roll is after you beat the Elite Four. So that is still kind of, I would say that counts as post-game content. It's just very interesting on some level to me how the story no longer ends at beating the Elite Four. I think that is probably overall not a bad choice for the Pokemon series. Because on paper, this probably should be a thing where, you know, the series should probably be about at least something more than just go get to the end. Because it's a pretty big universe. Whoa. Oh, fuck. I thought that if we fell off, we just sort of get, like, transported backwards. Yeah. And this music is some very serious, like, endgame dungeon kind of vibes. This is like the music that you get when you first enter Sin in FF10. It is definitely very intense. Come on out, deal with the full Pokemon here. Honestly, I probably should goof off less, but I am the sort of fellow who just, by default, tends to goof off a lot anyway. There are plenty of items to pick up, to be fair, so wouldn't really hurt, usually. Oh, hey, look, there's a, one of those long neck guys, Flamigo. Interesting variety of Pokemon around here. I feel on some level like the overall Pokemon variety of this place, like the overall Pokemon variety in Paldea is quite high, but here it does sort of get even more so. But I guess this is a big place, so it probably makes a little bit more sense. To find over here? Well, we can find an overworld Farigiraf here. And get crashed into by this big bird. Not that big bird. Sort of ran into this Flabebe. No, I think this is a Floette, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, all these things are basically just on top of us right now, so you get a couple of back-to-back dogpile instances here. But yeah, as I was sort of implying about the don't goof around, there's a lot of stuff that you can do here. It's just that we can't really access all of it just yet. So the actual value of doing too much of it is probably not the highest. Suddenly just get attacked by a big bald eagle. This is what people think America is like. Something, I don't know. Except even worse. Wait. Here, whale, deal with some of those. Yeah, that's one way to put it. And yeah, there's a lot of dialogue that goes on in the story here. Everybody gets to know each other and becomes friends throughout a journey here. This dork. Stop trying to flex. Oh shit, there's the Salt Rock walking around. Well, I don't think Duff McWhalen can deal with that. Dealt with the Venomoth. Yeah, that's him getting his ass whooped by the Salt Rock. Don't know if we're gonna. He's not interested in taking on the Hawlucha, that's for sure. And yeah, no map inside of this place, by the way. No GPS service for us here. Kind of fits the vibe of it being sort of like a dungeon location. In its way. Oh, hey, we never saw a Duskstone until now in this playthrough. Interesting. I mean, sure, us finding some of the, like, super high-grade berries, not until now, that makes a little bit more sense. But no Duskstone? We found a bunch of evolution stones at various points. I'm kind of shocked, really. Oh yeah, that's not ending well. This'll probably go a little better. Honestly, it could just be a good Pokemon for bring out this area in general. It is obviously not necessary to Let's Go mode through any of these Pokemon or fight them at all. Just think it'd be useful to get more experience, maybe some more materials, although, granted, we're at, like, the very end of what we're dealing with here, so... depending on how thick your accent is, buddy. Whoop. Oh, hey, remember this thing? It's a Pokemon that would be rather unusual for us to get before we fight the champion. Lamora is technically obtainable before this point because you can just go and capture a Glimmet in the cave in North Province. I was trying to remember if I had a more specific name for it, but there's a cave that has Glimmets in it in North Province. And then you just level it up enough to evolve it into Glamora. But it's pretty obscure. Pick up that item. I'll do that in a second. Not that ancient. I only fell off the mountain once. Yep. So there were 2 buttons on there that maybe one of them doesn't do it. I don't know. Well, I don't think we need to heal up, but we'll take it anyway. Especially not after all the healing items I've been using, so... Never you mind, let's get out of here. Those teleport pads allow us to warp between the various stations, which is great for much later on when we're able to travel this place separately. This item's gone. Big Moth. Alright, we can deal with it. And that Hawlucha is basically embedded in the wall, but it's trying real hard to not be, that's for sure. Oh hey, there's a whole Talonflame just wandering around in the wild. Yeah, a lot of very high level Pokemon, highly evolved Pokemon. I think you can find wild Pawmont, but I don't recall. I say this because we got the Pawmi Pawmos over here. And that would very likely, think, be the only of the 3 Pokemon that requires you to walk around to evolve it to actually be out here. To actually be available in the wild, pardon me. The amount of Pokemon in this game that you cannot find wandering around in the wild is very small. Out of, like, all the capturable Pokemon, most evolutions are available just out in the wild. I think even trade evolutions. I found Scizor walking around in the wild one time, I believe. Which is a bit of a shock because you, like, never see that thing anywhere. Neat, though. I mean, always good to not have to scrounge up a metal coat and do things that way. However, the walk-around Pokemon are not usually found in the wild. There was another one, too, that I forgot. And I was just thinking about it. Obviously, version exclusives and stuff like that don't count. Don't be too silly about that one. Oh yeah, King Gambit is another one. Golden Go. Obviously, those are not going to be found just wandering the wild. I think you can find Golden Go in certain, like, probably 7-star raids. But those are scheduled, so that's a little bit different. And yeah, naturally, any of the unique Pokemon, just to say, legendaries and mythicals, you can't find extras of those in the wild. Those are event battles. A little more rampagey than average, yeah. Nimona is definitely very linear in her thought process. Wow, 3 awakenings. That's... Well, I guess if they're going to give us the fairly basic status recovery items, at least they're giving us a large group of them. Otherwise, something would feel really silly about that. That's enough fighting random wild Pokemon. Let's just keep going here. This hill, I remember, because I'm pretty sure this is where you find Iron Thorns when you're looking for the Ultra Beasts. Wow. A little bit of Parapraxis there, if that's the word, I forget. Anyway, a little bit of... See, I said the word and I was confident about it at first and then no longer, but... A little slip of the tongue there. I meant the Paradox Pokemon in Violet. Mechanically, I feel that the Paradox and Ultra Beast Pokemon are pretty similar in a lot of ways. But they do have at least something a little bit unique about them. Hey, that's not a Jigglypuff. It kind of looks a little bit like one. What, you didn't notice the ponytail? Annie, you're very silly, aren't you? I forget what type this thing is, Screamtail, but we're just gonna deal with it the classic way. Hit it with Torch Song and then use Flamethrower afterwards if we need to. I think it's part Fairy type and, like, maybe part Fighting otherwise. Again, I don't remember, so wrong person to ask. Or maybe it's part Psychic. There's a couple of options, basically. Yeah, we should probably go in here and go deal with the lock. Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty similar. I guess, what do you expect? It must be just like, well, it would make sense for them to be prefabricated buildings. As to its great tusks, huh? What's it? I wonder what it's called. Oh, wait, we fought one of those earlier, so never mind. Yes, some plot would probably help. I mean, that kind of makes a little bit of sense for some of them. Built a whole time machine, and that's... This is what you use it for? Oh. So, does the... I guess the time machine doesn't go with the user? In that case? Or did you invent a machine that can only go backwards? That would be incredibly strange. But... oh well. I mean, might be helpful. I don't remember if we're allowed to read that. Like, it might be usable, but either way, we're going to heal. And then we're going to crack the book open. Oh, that's the wrong one. Whoops. Yeah, very few key items here, huh? Oh, well, it doesn't let us actually read the contents of the book. Do we have to go to the one in the school library? Because I'm pretty sure there's one there, but... Yeah, again, certain little fine details that I don't remember super well. She's an industry plant from the... Oh. What, like a pen? Like a penguin? Well, the problem is that we're a silent protagonist. We're not allowed to... We're not allowed to actually say anything, so... I guess these fellas will just have to stay in the dark about that. Now, unfortunately, Masquerade's Intimidate, well, unfortunately for it, I suppose, means nothing to me. The experience is probably not super high either, but hey, we'll take it anyway. Because we did bump into this thing, so... May as well get our freebie here. And Seabat just fights whatever is nearby for fun. Again, hey, it doesn't hurt to pick up some more experience, right? Well, there's our third research center. Do we fight another one of the Paradox Pokemon, or that not until later? I don't remember if we have any other forced battles with them, actually. Oh, well, there's one, yeah. And he sends out his big dog. Fine. Yeah, that does seem like a bit of an issue, to put it nicely. But Yep, here we are. I don't think we even really need too much of a rest. We spent like 2 PP while we were between those locations. We'll take it anyway. I mean, yeah, probably. Never letting Arvin have anything. Huh. Yeah, just a little bit. How are there only 2 of... Huh. That's... Yeah, just healing up because they're giving it to me for free. I may as well. What, right now? That's probably a bad idea. Well. Oh, no, you... Never mind. Chansey did still fade out. Well. Whatever. There's Pokemon we can fight here. Wild Svilas here. Hydreigon might be another Pokemon that cannot be found in the wild. I forget. But because it is so high level, that does make me think that maybe that is not a thing that you can just find in the wild. You have to evolve Svilas because remember that the evolution requirements in Gen 5 were very high for some reason. Well, shame we missed out on that Chansey, but who knows? We might be able to see another one some other time. Now, unfortunately, we're not allowed to just jump straight in the big hole. But I forget what the actual path to the location that we have to go to is. And I think at this point, things open up significantly more for at least a little bit, which makes things a little bit tougher. Oh, there's our free experience, Chansey. That up, and back we go along the... trying to find our way here. Pretty sure it's not up the ramp. Oh, we're still finding new items, so that makes me think that we're on our way here. Brownish Corviknight, I gotcha. Well, who knows what we'll find. I am mostly disregarding a lot of that to bear. As you can see, the floettes that spawn down here are just the white flower one. I don't think any other variants spawn here. Okay, so we're about where we came down to this layer, so we haven't quite made the full orbit here. We're getting kind of close to that, I think. Okay, yeah, here's the lab. So we just turn here. This is where our hole into the depths is. Venomoth is blue. Okay, well. Concern myself with that if I see it. Yeah, we got some more of the babies of the Garchomp line. Kind of makes sense. We saw the Garchomps floating around outside of this place. Alright, now these salt rocks, Gyarados should be able to deal with these guys. Maybe less so that's Violus, but that's fine. Oop. That's a boundary for us to have a cutscene. Fair enough. Fair enough. Just readjusting here. Was Hawlucha purple? I remember it had a dark color on it that I think was basically black. But maybe I'm confusing the color pattern with the thing. I very frequent. Yep, we're getting close to the plot. Wow. It's actually happening. There's a Lamora just sort of embedded in the wall. Deal with those. Speaking of embedded in the wall, there's a salt rock that we can kind of see. Because it's currently crammed all the way behind the wall. Here's our wild Screamtail. Ah, there's Fluttermane. This is another one of those, obviously. Ancient version of Mischievous. Notorious for kind of being a very centralizing thing in the competitive Pokemon metagames. You did, actually, Arvin. Ball. In case, I think we go this way before we go further down the path. I forget. No, please. Okay, yeah, we don't go across this path just yet. Well, can if we want to, with value in it. Yeah, you can fight that thing if you want to, buddy. Feel like responding at all? There we go. I just had to cycle it a few times, I guess. How all kind of crusty this whole endeavor could be. Yeah, let's just clear these things out as we go back up here. Yeah, Gyarados should do just fine against all these, basically, unless we try to send it at an electric type. It'll be fine. Zoomable. Alright, well, here's our 4th research station, so this is probably a better place for us to heal, assuming the bed... Yeah, the bed isn't, like, so it should be... It's also full of those crystals growing in places. Nothing alarming about that, surely. Having problems. Ah, this is getting a little bit weird. Genuinely gets to be a little bit of a horror story on some level, actually. Like, kind of creepy by Pokemon standards. And sure, there's a lot of stuff that tries, but usually it doesn't succeed. At least I don't think it healed. Nimona, please. Dude. Oh. Oh, look at this huge plaque on the ground that we can't actually... Big pile of stuff here for us to deal with. Gonna have get eaten this way because I don't feel like jumping into regular battles, even though it'd probably be faster. Oh, look at this cloud of Glamoras, actually. A few of them. It almost feels like more glimmets, more than I've ever seen glimmets, pardon me. Now, before we go in there, get a cutscene before I can go get the item. Well, forget it then. Yeah, we're getting a phone call suddenly. Well, maybe not so suddenly. It's nice to not hear it over an intercom. Yeah, see, as they all knew. Well, I guess that means somebody's been down here. It's about a dangerous Pokemon. Go to the front and up firm. And now open the gate and we're dealing with. Oh, what, do you want to be the one who does it? Pretty sensible by your... I mean, yeah. Considering... Okay, fine. Let's see what happens. It doesn't remember this place. Alright, anyway. Oh, there it is. And as you get to see all of the parts of the door slowly open. Oh, I don't think he's gonna be as happy as what you're planning. Don't say. Well, off it goes. Yep. It's a little rough, to put it nicely. Oh, well, here they come. Well, we've got one of the mushrooms that I haven't seen in here before. think it's the only one that we haven't encountered yet. Because we saw Screamtail, obviously. We saw the elephant. We saw the ghost. Oh yeah, we haven't seen the moth either. A couple others. So... I mean, I guess Nimona would probably be... In theory, she's supposed to be the strongest out of these fellas. Actual champion and all. Would on some level make a little bit of sense. But also, we completely fried that Great Tusk. Our level is pretty good. We should be able to deal with whatever we're got coming here. Alright, now we got the mushroom, which is grass dark. So clicking Lumina Crash is a bad idea. But we can hit it with Dazzling Gleam. That should do some good work. And not as much as I'd like, but hey. We're trying here. We're trying here. Okay, great. It didn't target me, so... Might be able to... Not quite get a kill here. Very close, though. That's better. I mean, those are some... They are some pretty angry mushrooms, so... Wow, who could imagine? And yeah, thankfully, as it's Ghost Fairy, it's still weak to ghost damage. Unfortunately, not weak enough to die in one hit, but hey. You caught a shiny of the Screamtail? Neat. Although it's probably one of those green colors that you get from, like, every shiny. I said the wrong one. Wow, okay. Because I like how he's just sending his Dark-type dog against the Dark-type mushrooms, so... That's right, go kick that other feather lizard's ass. One sec, everybody. Alright, I'm back. Let's go. Oh no, the robot saw. Oh, I spoiled that a little bit. Oh no, she's dead and remarkably well preserved. Oh no, maybe she's not dead. Robot, for some reason. Hey, look at this. Looks like a cool guy. Thinks he's a cool guy. Oh, sure, just remind it, right? No kidding. I mean, you can just say a robot as opposed to an AI powered robot because anyway, it does make her sound a hell of a lot less impressive now. So it seems on some level like one of the worst possible ideas to how to build a time machine, but you know, as I said before, maybe something that comes with you, but it, that took too many. Ah, yes, I see the weird magic crystals just made this thing that makes total sense. Yeah, okay, sure. I mean, yeah, tell me about the this AI wants, I guess, take over the world or something. Well, it does sound like the professor was not a good person. In some ways. Anyway, now we're inside of a disco ball. Oh, that's a strange place to end up. Sure, okay. Makes total sense, and by that I mean... Okay. Whatever, for some reason the book is the professor's ID. Yeah. This isn't the stupidest thing I've seen in any RPG, but it's, it is pretty goofy. Pretty goofy. I've seen dumber things in Pokemon games, but not necessarily by a lot. Also, why does it do this? Well, I guess it's like entirely just the crystals now, so there's no real technology involved there. Doing the things with replacing some of the letters with similar looking random characters. It's like the quest names in the last part of Endwalker. 6.0, pardon me, not any of the post patches. And for some reason you're just all the way on top of this giant fucking thing. Okay. This is so goofy. Anyway, I think just, like, spamming Lumina Crash will deal with a large part of this, actually. No, Retro. That's not a thing that's happening. Ow, that was a lot of damage. About to send out Flutter Mane. Now, we've seen before, that thing is a weak to... it's a Ghost Fairy type, so we'll do this. Flutter Mane has 4 specially oriented stats. So if I recall correctly, it doesn't have very good HP, and it really doesn't have very good physical defense. Wow, who could imagine variant on Mischievous has Mischievous's stats. It is, however, quite fast, so that could be a bit of a problem. But I think we're going to get out of here not nearly as well as I was hoping. Well, slight letdown, but B will just make a switch and it'll be fine. Probably. Until this reveals sudden Earth power. This Skull Fire is pretty strong too, I mean... Oh no, it took down my special attack. Just by enough, but not just by enough to do that anyway though, so... We're good to go, and... Next Pokemon up is Brute Bonnet, as we have discussed before. Grass Dark, but we don't have a single Bug-type move on our team. Perhaps unsurprisingly, there's not a whole lot of space to fit one a lot of the time. But we'll deal with Duff McWhale in here. Just hitting this thing real hard, because honestly, that's something it's kind of good at. That was a decent chunk of damage, but I guess our defense ain't all that, really. Now, thankfully, she doesn't seem to be a healing item spammer, at least, so we got that going for us. I guess it makes sense. Why would she have items? She's so far away from her Pokemon that, yeah. Sandy Shocks. Doesn't really have a very exploitable double weakness. But it's ground electric, and it's also very silly looking. I think this might be one of my favorite of the past Pokemon just because it is incredibly goofy. And of course it has Flash Cannon because it's derived from Magneton, so that just sort of makes sense. Not quite a one-shot for us. Oh well. And Power Gem, which does about the same amount of damage. Actually, I think technically would deal even less, so that is kind of a boon to us. And next up is Screamtail, which I don't remember if we even figured out what that is yet, type-wise. That won't let us find out, unfortunately. Psychic Fairy or something? Let's try sending Gauss in here and just hit it with the Flash Cannon a couple of times. I'm pretty confident as to what the last Pokemon is, so... we'll have a minimum of problems dealing with that, but just to be absolutely sure, I'm going to distribute a Max Potion here, because that Drain Punch feels like nothing to worry about on any real level. We'll just have to heal Gauss as well, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, the health recovery is not a lot. So it's fine. On the part of Screamtail, not us. Obviously, we're using max potions. We should be pretty good with those. Okay, yeah, Screamtail is very psychic, apparently. I didn't remember, so... Yeah. And about to send in Roaring Moon. This is the last one. Now, this is why we healed up Kefnet for this, because we need a Fairy-type attack. This thing is Dark Dragon. So it will not like what is about to happen to it, that's for sure. Yeah, meanwhile, it uses its booster energy in order to force activate photosynthesis, targeting its attack, not its speed, which is not really the best choice for it. Although, it still moves faster than... Well, shit. I hate that. That thing is really fast. Okay. Fine. Try and hit it with this. Dragon Claw might not wipe it out, though, because... it's got some stat. It's faster than my fastest Pokemon. Are you fucking serious? And I didn't quite one-shot it, so that's slightly unfortunate, but... yeah, I'll do the swap here. Unfortunately, Night Slash would pierce through our steel type. But thankfully, it's still kind of baited into using Dragon Claw. So here's what we do. We just heal to full. Just throw around the healing items because, honestly, this game gives you practically an infinite amount of them. So you may as well, right? But also, yeah, as you can see, Roaring Moon, not something to mess with. Ouch. That was not a crit? That is a lot of damage variance then. Wow. So, a pretty tough battle, but our levels were actually not that high compared to... Because the boss is like 5 levels above the Pokemon you were fighting out there as events. Ugh. Of course. And the crystals all turn black for reasons. This is the only time he's ever heard it. And it's from a robot. Yes. Alternately, the crystals are sentient and... I mean... Again, that sounds kind of stupid, but hey... It's a Pokemon game plot, and we already have all of this going on, so, like... Honestly, it's not as... nowhere near the stupidest thing that it possibly could be. Oh, look, see how it's glitching out and everything? Wow. Ah, yes, remember that thing from the cutscene? Did we attempt to send you out? Not sure if it does anything or not offhand. Because obviously it goes through a series of cutscenes. Stuff. Because for some reason this... Well, I mean, actually it kind of makes sense, but... Now it enters into its combat mode. That I'm pretty sure it has a much more elaborate transformation than the other one does. Although I haven't looked at it in a minute. I don't really use most legendary Pokemon for battling anyway. So, Koraidon, aside from having the ability Orichalcum Pulse, which sets sunlight and also gives it a buff to its fire moves, I believe. Further buff to... Or is it a stat buff? I forget. But it is a fighting dragon Pokemon. Which is a little bit unusual for, like, being a sun-oriented Pokemon. You'd think it would be fire type. It is not. And of course, they don't give me a dragon type move for this effing thing. So they don't let me have, like, an easy win here. I could click Terra Blast, but ultimately, I guess I'm waiting to see if it allows me to Terrastalize first. Because that would actually have a chance to give me a Dragon-type move, so I'd be able to do real damage here. But of course, it's got bulk up in order to make sure that be less physical damage to it, which is annoying. Buttons still don't work, so... No, it's going for Giga Impact. That is very painful. That is probably scripted to put us to 1 HP. Well, we get a free turn here, so in theory we should be, Nope, still nothing. Well, I'll heal next turn, I guess. And go for our last collision course. And yeah, now we get the idea to do this, right? Just like after several turns of goofing here. And he gets an Omni Boost. The rarely spotted Omni Boost. And yeah, I told you, Terra Blast is going to turn into a Dragon type move. And that lets us defeat it pretty easily. Oh, there we go. Well, that means we destroy the robot, and that'll fix everything. Right? Which nobody thinks about for some reason. Well. Yeah, I don't know that I buy that, so... Yeah. Well. Yep, it definitely looks, well, out there. Let's do these two things that are basically the same. And credits roll after a long black screen. Game. Are you loading the Ed Sheeran song? Is that what's taking so long? Is it probably is. I think we get one more cutscene before credits, so by that I mean like chunk of credits, really. A chunk of cutscene, rather. Not a lot, but hey, it's a cutscene, all right. Really, dude? You're not gonna come with? Come on. What you're complaining, Arvin? At least a little bit less complaining. Cutting the audio here. Well, cutting the game audio there, pardon me. I'll still be speaking. That was the end of Pokemon Scarlet, at least for the main story campaign. So now I am the one who has to deal with the song that I mentioned on my own terms here. I won't say anything more about it, but I just don't like the guy and his voice. Anyway, Pokemon Scarlet is one of those games, it's like, boy, if they had put more effort into the places that needed more effort, they really could have done something that is, like, unthinkable. And not in the sense of, like, oh, a Pokemon game that's good, but this genre being good. And, you know, having something that is, like, very, you know, very fun, very, you know, a lot of good little details in a lot of places. And then you remember that this game was basically forced out the door super early after they crunched the shit out of the dev team because Nintendo is a corporation and corporations like money more than they like producing actual art. Gameplay is basically pretty good. It's a Pokemon game. Wow, it plays pretty well because most Pokemon games, you have to try to fuck up a Pokemon game. And believe you me, there are a couple of times when Game Freak absolutely did, but I digress. Overall, yeah, I like this game a pretty fair amount. There the parts that are like problematic about it are embarrassing, I agree. But because we are talking about you have fucking Nintendo money and on top of that it's Pokemon, but I feel like I would chalk quite a lot more of them up to bad decisions than anything. Which is better, Scarlet or Violet? Well, Violet just by virtue of being purple as opposed to orange, but they did have a lot more stuff going on with the, again, I almost called them Ultra Beasts, with the Paradox Pokemon in Scarlet. And I think that Koraidon's design is a little bit better than Miraidon. But overall, the differences are kind of minor compared to what they were trying to do with a couple of other of the split series. That what the fuck am I trying to say here? Sorry. Of the older generations where they tried to make them different between the split games, which basically is like Gen 7 or Gen 8. Well, no, not actually that much in Gen 8, never mind. But, you know, Gen 7, those are games that I feel like there's some real differences here and there, if I recall correctly. Same with Gen 6, you could probably say that there's a little bit of difference. Here, I really don't have too much of an opinion in either direction. I think maybe Professor Turo is more fitting of a professor design in some ways for being like the villain professor, because that guy looks like he would try to talk me into buying bitcoins. Meanwhile, Sada is just like, she's not that. She definitely looks a little bit like tough and edgy, a little, I would say, but not necessarily villainous in that regard. Meanwhile, Turo, that is just a guy I need to never speak to at any point in my entire life. There's probably a little bit of like finer detail in terms of the version exclusive Pokemon, and if I thought about it more, I could probably say something a little bit more definitive about that, but off the top of my head, I don't remember. So, yeah, that's all I got on the matter. And we get ourselves the end screen. Well, congratulations, everybody. We get more cutscene after this, I guess. Well, personally, I would like to skip that, but okay. I might need to go speak to this guy to get something important that I want to do to wrap things up here. We're not ending on the credits because I'm a fool. We're all gonna get our asses kicked here. I mean, we didn't actually do that much, considering. Hooray, we got the Master Ball! I thought we got that way earlier. I forgot, though. Yep, give me the thing, I guess. Oh, don't be like that, Arvin. Yeah, he's not a school fan, but you know what? That's fair enough. Nimona, please. Oh, you again. Here's Gita, who likes the idea because of reasons. Which means that I already dislike this idea. Are we going to get our Metal Gear villain speech? Or do we have to, like, specifically walk up to something to do that? Oh, this is how we unlock gym refights. Well, whatever. And he's trying to get out of, like, every piece of work. I appreciate that. Nimona is enthusiastic about forms, too. Wow. Yeah, you just have your mouth zoomed in on, I guess. Well. Off we go. I've got what I believe is one last thing to take care of before this, because at least I should be able to do this. Yeah, fly over to the Zero Gate. And we now go ahead and enter the crater. Since we are allowed back in, it's not a one-time dungeon. It'd be real stupid if they didn't let us do that. And yeah, you can take the teleport to get down to the bottom quickly if you wish. But I feel like doing things a slight bit differently here. As soon as this loads. There we go. We're just going to take a nice big leap right down that hole. Because I think the inordinately long fall is kind of funny in its own right. Yep, see, dropped all the way down. That's a Screamtail, not a Chansey, so we don't care about it. We're here for really only one thing. But we'll pick up some items along the way. Why not? You know, hard to complain about the experience candies and shit. Even if there's not really going to be a whole lot more of this game on this channel. I am probably going to do at least enough to do some side quests, but we'll look at that tomorrow. Because we should be able to find the dragon out here, right? I don't remember if it's inside the facility or not, but you can take a look at this thing anyway. But now we can capture it once we actually find it. I remember where it is. Not appear to be here. Thing is still all bright and stuff for some reason. No. Actually, where is it? Or do I have to progress in the side quests in order to be able to encounter the dragon again? I swear it was down here. I'd have to actually, like, explore around this area. But yeah, you can capture a second of the story dragon of the box legend here. It's the one that we fought earlier, so that kind of makes sense on some level. That thing. Oh, here it is. It's right up here. That kind of makes sense on a certain level. And just to make very clear, I am not going to try to catch this thing in any special ball. I'm just throwing the Master Ball and off we go. I mean, at this point, I've already streamed this like an extra hour because of reasons. I say, where's my Master Ball? But it's sorted into the correct position. Hooray! We caught the version legendary for the second time. Ah, yes, its Paradox Pokemon name is Winged King, I guess. Oh, hey, we can pick up an item for Pokedex progression, I guess. Well, neat. Yeah, because I guess Koraidon was finally registered to our Pokedex. Cool. I think. Yeah, so we can just add the one that we got from the whole rest of the story into our party if we wish. That's neat. But also, that's all for tonight.